Morning, everybody. I'd like to open the meeting at 9:01 and thank you all for your attendance this morning. I have Councillor Hancock online. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Okay, we're all good to go. If I could have someone move the confirmation of the minutes for the ordinary meeting of the 10th of July 2025. Councillor Seawright.
I move that the minutes on the ordinary meeting held on 10th of July 2025 be confirmed.
Seconder, Councillor Brompton. All those in favour?
Can you vote
Yes.
if you weren't here?
Yeah.
9-0. Ten point one, monthly report actions from council meetings. Do I have a mover? Councillor
I'll
O'Neill,
move the council receive and note the officers' report as presented.
seconded by Councillor Davis. Anyone want to speak for or against?
Yeah, I'll speak. Happy to move this. I think this has been a welcomed addition by all councillors that this report is now included in on a monthly basis. And I think it shows that we are committed to what we say we're going to do, we do. Council across a year makes a huge number of decisions which the staff ultimately go and enact. I think this is a good check and balance to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks and, what we say we're going to do in here happens.
Anyone else like
I've just got a question.
Yes.
On page 5 of 7, the top resolution, which has got yellow, it says in progress. We actually did that. It was laid on the table, and we actually did that later in the meeting, and it is reflected on page 6 at the bottom. So I believe that one actually is completed because it was completed later in the meeting. The first one where it says in progress was to be laid on the table until later in the meeting, and then we did actually resolve it later in the meeting. So that one, I think,
Okay.
can be removed from what I can see.
Thanks, councillor. Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak for? I'd just like to say thank you too. I think that this is a really a great step forward, and as Councillor O'Neill said, we say we're going to do a lot of things here and we're just trying to make sure that we tick all the right boxes. So thank you very much for all that, Kel.
It's
All
just,
right.
as we said, it's a work in progress. Council,
Yeah.
the first one there. Kel and I were talking about probably even another column in there just around comments, because it does say completed, but what does that mean? Get letter sent on this date. So there's a little bit more work to be done on it, but it's the first one. But Kel and I had a chat through it the other day. If we can maybe another column there on comments there, so when it says completed, what does that mean? We've contacted whoever or the letter's been written, but
Yeah.
as I said, first one. But
Yeah, great step, I reckon. Yeah. All right. On that, do you want to sum up, councillor? On that note, we'll all go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. 11.1, 24-25 Quarter 4 Progress Report Operational Plan to the 30th of June 2025. Hello, Grace. Councillor Brompton.
I'd like to move that Council 1 receive and note the 24-25 Quarter 4 report. 2, endorse the Quarter 4 report as presented in accordance with Section 1047 of the Local Government Act 2009.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Yes, we may have some questions on this. We have discussed this at a briefing. But in terms of, this is a Quarter 4 report. I note that there are some actions that weren't completed. And we have asked that we have a later, like a Quarter 5 report to show that when they are completed, because they're not represented in the 25-26 operational plan as it's a new plan. And I also note that there's some that have been extended and they're ones that run over multi-years. Some of the ones that can't be completed can't be because it was a target to meet a certain percentage, which we just didn't meet. But there are some that have outstanding actions, and we as council will be keeping an eye on those. We want to see them actually completed. So we will have it reported on separately until such time as they are completed.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
I'll just quickly speak to thank the staff. Yesterday when we did have a briefing on this, just the honesty around some projects were down to completed, but staff didn't feel that they were properly completed. So I'd just like to acknowledge the work that the staff put in the background in checking over projects to make sure that they were done properly and well, and that's what I think the ratepayers are looking for. So I'd just like to thank the staff. The list was long, and you know, we haven't got them all completed, but we are keeping a check on them to make sure that they're
Yeah.
going to.
And we didn't have you in the room, Grace, yesterday, so thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Summing up?
I don't
All
think I
good?
need to.
Okay, let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Thanks, Grace. 14.1, approval of selective inspection program 2025. Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I'd like to move that council resolve 1 to approve the 2025 selective inspection program under section 1131 of the Animal Management Cats and Dogs Act 2008 AMCAD, enabling authorised officers to enter selected properties to monitor compliance with the Act, applying option 1, conduct a selective inspection program for dogs only. 2, that the purpose of the program, in accordance with section 1135A of the AMCAD, is to ensure compliance with registration obligations for dogs and cats and regulated animal provisions under Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 of the Act. 3, that the program commences on the 1st of September 2025 and concludes on the 28th of November 2025, as per section 1135B of the AMCAD. 4, that inspections may occur within the townships of Amby, Injune, Jackson, Mitchell, Muckadilla, Mungalala, Roma, Surat, Wallumbilla and Yulbar in accordance with section 1135C of the AMCAD, where authorised officers have a reasonable belief that unregistered or regulated dogs or cats may be present. 5, that in accordance with section 114 of the AMCAD, public notice of the program be given via local newspapers, council's website and social media platforms at least 14 days and no more than 28 days before the program's commencement. 6, that upon identification of an unregistered dog or cat or non-compliance with regulated animal provisions, authorised officers issue advisory notices that provide 14 days for compliance. If compliance is not achieved, infringement notices will be issued.
Thank you. Somebody second that? Councillor Vincent. Morning, Annie.
Morning.
Would you like to speak, Councillor?
I
got
do
a
have-
question? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, you go. Do our registrations get emailed out?
Through the chair, sorry. A handful do, but most are posted out.
Did you have a
Yeah, I do.
question?
Have we ever included cats in previous years?
I think as per the legislation, you don't include cats. I've proposed it, I think, as option 2, just opportunistically. They're not, the legislation states that it's just for dogs, dog compliance. So we thought while we were out and about, and if we happen to see a cat or talk to an owner, we will mention it. But we can't take compliance the same way that we do with the dogs.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And councillor, just on page 30, the officers just pointed out there on page 30 that talks halfway down the page there, it said that the program in 25 saying about 21 properties inspected, that should be 23. 23.
Good, thank
yeah.
you.
Just the numbers there. So.
I think the confusion comes from sort of how the compliance action started versus where it ended up. So we issued 4 advisory notices, 4 calling cards, 1 compliance and 12 required no action. So I appreciate the way it was written was confusing.
Councillor Davis, did you want to speak?
Just to the motion, yep. I'd just like to say thank you to staff for bringing this forward. I'm really happy to see a larger scale selective inspection program in this year. It is not revenue raising, it is just the fact that we're keeping our community safe by going out and actually inspecting properties. And, you know, there is an opportunity to rectify anything that is out. You do have 14 days, and it definitely pays to register your animal, because if they are found out and about, they're returned to you. So you're in front by registering. So, no, fully supportive of this motion.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak in favour. I'm pleased to see the council's considering this last year. I was incredibly disappointed that internally decisions were made by former staff members not to do this. I think it was a backward step in terms of the work that council has done over the last 10 years in addressing the largely the unregistered dogs and roaming dog issues that we've seen not just in Roma but right across the region. And when we first introduced this, there was a major uptick in registrations of animals, cats and dogs. But as has been highlighted, this is for dogs. I would like to see this embedded each and every year. I appreciate the council should consider it. I think that's an important step rather than just agreeing to do it for the rest of this term. It should come to the council table, but I'm very supportive of this because I've seen the results that our community has benefited from doing the inspections. And at the end of the day, the criticisms that were levelled when we've done this in the past by former councillors and by community members was that it's not good to see council staff going into people's yards. Well, if they do the right thing, no problem. If you own a dog, you live in the town boundaries of any of our communities, register your animal. And so I'm very happy to see this and fully supportive of it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, councillor?
No, thank you.
Let's go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Thanks, Annie. Thank you. 14.2, Parthenium Management Plan. Hello, Annie. Councillor Seawright.
I move that council endorse the Parthenium Management Plan 2025 to 2027 to ensure compliance with the legislative requirements, support effective biosecurity management and protect the region's agricultural, environmental and economic assets.
Have a seconder, Councillor Burkett. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I'd just again thank the staff for the huge body of work they've done in the background. This has been done over several years. We've gone out to community engagement a couple of years ago. They've brought it to a briefing with us councillors, and we've also briefly looked through it through the Biosecurity Management Committee. And all feedback's been taken on board, and this is the outcome of it. It's a really great document. It actually helps form basically the backbone of where our rural lands officers can work from, and just gives us directions we can head with when it comes to managing the Parthenium in all areas of our region. Again, thanks to Liz Otto for helping prepare this document and the expertise that our team have provided to get us to the end.
I agree. Anyone else like to speak? Well, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
14.3, 2026 Queensland Information Centre Association QICA Conference Expression of Interest. I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on 14.3, 2026 Queensland Information Centre Association QICA Conference Expression of Interest. The declaring councillor is myself, Wendy Taylor. The person of interest is myself as the treasurer of the Roma Clay Target Club. The particulars of interest is the report mentions the Roma Clay Target Club, and as I said, I'm the treasurer. It's a declarable conflict of interest, but I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on. Thank you.
Mayor's left the room, so 14.3, is there a mover?
I've just got some questions.
Questions, Councillor Vincent?
I just see in the consultation, and I appreciate George is not here this morning, was BAG consulted in the lead up to the program being designed?
Sorry, Chair, I didn't quite catch.
BAG, Bringa Action Group, being that we've got going out to Mitchell?
No.
I was just going to say, Councillor Vincent, obviously with the long lead time,
Yep.
there will be a lot of consultation, with BAG and other tourism providers. That it's the tightness of the time frame to get the expression of interest in.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was identified out of the failed bid, I suppose, was the need to have some of that detail around those providers. So it's certainly going to be on the team's agenda to do.
So that's why they've been highlighted as a group
Yes.
that we could work with.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any other questions? Councillor Vincent,
I'm happy to move.
you move.
I move that Council 1 endorses the expression of interest application for Maranoa Region to host the 2026 Queensland Information Centre Association Conference. 2, provide in-principle support for the conference should the Maranoa be successful in its expression of interest and be awarded the 2026 conference. 3, allocate $5,000 of in-kind assistance from the 2026-27 budget for the event should the expression of interest be successful.
Thanks, Councillor Vincent. Is there a seconder? There is. Councillor Flynn. Does the mover wish to speak?
This is just the first step in putting our name forward for the Quicker Conference for next year. I know our staff do attend this conference most years that it's held around Queensland, so it'll be great to have it in our community, and hopefully then those Visitor Information Centre officers can go back and sell our region as well.
Thanks, Councillor Vincent. Speaker against? Further speaker for? No, I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Yes.
That's 8-0 carried.
Okay, 14.4, management agreement, Surat Aquarium, Cobb and Co. changing station. Morning. Morning. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council 1 receive notice that the Surat Fishing and Restocking Club Incorporated are terminating their management agreement for the operation and maintenance of the Surat Aquarium. 2, accept the Surat Fishing and Restock. Oh, is this a new one?
Yeah.
An alternative.
Oh, sorry.
I'll just rewind that one.
That's right. It's only the bottom bit that's different.
It's just
I
tidying
think-
up the wording, Councillor
Oh,
Vincent,
okay.
because it wasn't quite
Sorry.
4 and 5
Didn't
word.
know that.
I think
Weren't
it
Did you
was
want to
previously
explain?
express of interest versus just Brett
Yeah.
thought.
The original resolution was trying to do a proper, full-blown expression of interest process. So it was very formal, and particularly the last 2 lines of the resolution, very formal in how you go about an EOI process. After discussions with staff around what we're trying to achieve and with the CEO, really what we're trying to do is seek someone to just come in and deliver a service for us. So that's why the bottom line is really the new addition to that, and remove the bottom 2 lines from the previous resolution and just add that bottom line, which is basically saying we're just going to seek interested parties to see who can provide that service, because it is, I guess, a complex service. So that's why there's a subtle difference.
Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
I have a question,
Yeah, when you're ready.
but whenever. I'm just a bit concerned about number 4 now, with the seeking parties to enter into agreement to provide the operation and maintenance of the Surat Aquarium. We own that aquarium, and it is us who have workplace health and safety requirements of that aquarium. I just don't know if we should be expecting someone else to do the maintenance of our Surat Aquarium. That's my number 1 question. My number 2 question is just in relation with our workplace health and safety. Is it still feasible that a community group operates, looking after the water quality if they're dealing with chemicals or whatever they're using? Is it still feasible for them to be able to do that? Or is it something that we need an expert to do within our business?
What did the Surat Fishing Club do?
It's got maintenance
Maintenance
there.
is in the
Yeah,
current
it's sorry,
arrangement.
through the chair, the bottom line, the operation and maintenance is straight out of the old agreement with the existing club. That's why we just use those same words, just.
So when we're talking about maintenance, are we talking about like just like the cleaning of the fish tank or something like that? I just don't know.
It's cleaning the skimmer boxes, checking the
routine.
pumps are working.
Perhaps it should be reworded to say routine maintenance rather than.
Yeah, something like that rather than.
And that'll be spelled out in the actual
Yeah.
in the agreement that they sign. But if you like, Maddie Gain did send me just a bit of a short message there in regard to what actually is, what the current arrangement is there. And the fishing club responsibilities are they source replacement of fish either from the river or a supplier. They source bait from the river, yabbies, etc. They quarantine fish and grow them to mature size to replace fish stocks. They check the chemicals and dosing of the aquarium. They feed the fish twice a week. They clean the skimmer boxes regularly, check the pumps are working, and troubleshoot or alert council officers on annual maintenance or cleaning if required, and keep back of house clean and tidy as well. So they're probably the key ones that they undertake.
So if they are dealing with chemicals, do the interested parties have to have any qualifications to be able to do that?
Would that be not the same as our cleaners working with chemicals though?
I think I'm just trying to think of the chemicals that we use in aquariums. They're I wouldn't say they're toxic unless you consume them.
No.
Okay, I'm just asking just to make sure like this is the time. Like just because we've had the same agreement for 18 years or something, I just wanted to make sure that we're
And I
that's
guess,
still feasible.
Anyway,
and I guess, councillor, if it's, seek interested parties, well, the conversations can be had on what they can and can't do or, want to do or
Sure.
don't want to do. So, yeah, I guess it's just to get it out there to start with.
I think
Trying to gauge.
through the
Councillor
mayor,
Sure.
I mean, probably to Councillor Hancock, given this is your community, outside of the Surat Fishing Club and Restocking Club, who would be interested parties to do this?
Yeah, if you'd like my opinion, I don't
Yeah.
see that there will be.
Like, we're going to have to do this ourselves, aren't we?
Well, we'll just
And I'm actually thinking that's exactly right. It is probably time that we take this side of it on. Maybe the feeding of the fish or something like that could still be a volunteer basis, like that part of it. But the actual dealing with the aquarium and the back of house, I'm actually feeling that's probably time we take that on.
and we possibly will. We just said you don't know until you call it.
No,
But
no, I
Don't
get
you
that.
ask?
We've already had the discussion internally about how we can split that role, whether just with our water treatment team taking over the maintenance of the tank and the volunteers and staff there for the feeding of it. But as I said, we'll call it. We'll see how we go. Obviously, the fishing club were that was the obvious person to do it there. But whether you get the P&C or someone like that who might want to do it as a bit of a fundraiser, you don't know until you call it. But
Are they growing out tanks out the back, or were they doing that off-site?
I don't know.
Do you know, Councillor?
I think there is tanks out the back.
We probably need to sit down with members of the club to understand exactly what they were doing.
And they have actually, the other thing I didn't mention was that the club have said that not only are they happy to keep doing it until we find an alternative, they
Yeah.
are happy to work with whoever does it, whether it's another party or whether it's council, they are
Council.
happy to train and help hand over as well. So
Yeah, good. Right.
Can I just make a comment? It's hardly on a volunteer basis when we're paying them $10,000 a year to provide the service. Like it's $220 a week, so that is above volunteer, I think.
Yeah.
I think the
So
volunteers.
isn't it up to them to provide the service if we're paying for it?
Yeah, I think with the volunteers, council, was if we do it ourselves, we got volunteers that work in the actual museum there as well. If we were to take it on ourselves, we'd probably use our volunteers that help work in the museum. So,
I don't have a problem with that, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
but this is a paid
we're
contract.
talking about volunteerism, but it's $10,000 a year we're paying to be a volunteer.
And there could be an interested party, like a P&C or the Scouts or somebody that might be interested in taking it on for $10,000 a year.
Technically, the 10,000 goes to the club, but the club's getting their volunteers, so that actual person's not getting it.
That's right.
So they're technically, yeah, I know, I take your point, but they're
It's a
actually still
fundraising
volunteering.
It's a
exercise.
fundraiser.
Yeah, fundraiser.
Yeah, that's right.
And the volunteers the staff were talking about was if,
But it's got, my point is that it's got to be up to somebody to provide that service if we're paying for it.
exactly, yeah.
That's
I've
right.
been at the back of there. There is tanks. I just can't remember if they were balancing tanks or if there was.
Same, that's all I want to know.
Yeah. I got shown at one, but I just can't exactly remember.
There is definitely tanks out there. I just wonder, over the time, sometimes they might be growing some in there, or sometimes it's the tank that they put them into before they put them into the big tank.
Yeah.
All right, has anybody else got any more questions or want to? No, we're all good. Councillor Vincent, are you still happy to move?
I am happy to move, but should I put feeding in there? Feeding was in the last resolution, so should I put feeding in for the operation and maintenance? The feeding, operation and maintenance?
I guess at the moment, operation's a very broad term.
Operation.
Okay.
So it's up to you, I guess, council. I suspect we'll end up having to negotiate with whomever to do what when we get to the.
Okay. I move that Council 1 receive notice that Surat Fishing and Restocking Club Incorporated are terminating their management agreement for the operation and maintenance of the Surat Aquarium. 2, accept the Surat Fishing and Restocking Club's offer to continue operations for the Surat Aquarium until a suitable replacement is appointed. 3, thank the Surat Fishing and Restocking Club for their commitment to the aquarium over the past 18 years. And 4, seek interested parties to enter into an agreement to provide for the operation and routine maintenance of the Surat Aquarium.
Have a seconder? Councillor Davis?
I've also got a question as well
Yes,
now,
you can have a
sorry.
question, yep.
Upon reading the fourth one, how are we proposing to seek interest?
Well, I guess our approach was to think of it more like a procurement activity, but rather than being an expression of interest, a formal expression of interest process, seeking it like a normal procurement activity. So you out there, whether it's private individuals or clubs, or actually treat it like a procurement activity.
So newspaper,
Yeah,
website. Thank you. Yep, happy.
Just further to that though, councillor, I think though, given the nature of it, we will also utilise the LDOs to try and, go out and engage the community groups to see if there is interest from one of them taking it on, given that, by its very nature, yes, they're providing a service, but also it's a fantastic fundraising opportunity for somebody in the local community if they have the capability to do it.
Thank you.
Okay, so would you like to speak to the motion, councillor?
Just quickly, just to thank the Surat Fishing and Restocking Club for taking on the commitment of looking after the aquarium down at Surat. They do a fabulous job. It is a very popular point of interest for the Surat Cobb and Co changing station. Thank you for their service.
Okay, with that, we'll go to the vote. All those
Oh,
in... Sorry.
Could I?
Yes, sorry,
Could
councillor.
I speak? Thank you. I'd just like to echo Councillor Vincent's thanks to the Surat Fishing and Restocking Club. They've been doing this for many, many years, offering a wonderful service really to our community and to the tourists. I know the fish feeding moments on the weekend I really look forward to. And it takes a lot of dedication for a club to be able to continue to do this, I believe, for 18 years. And so I just really do want to thank them and all the volunteers of that club that have come through and have given up their time to be able to do that over so many years. And I really do appreciate in the resolution that we're actually going to, write to them and thank them for their service.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, councillor. On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. You're still here? You're still here, okay. 14.5, tender 25044, expression of interest, Studio 2, Roma Community Arts Centre. Councillor Brumpton.
I move that Council 1 approves an amendment to Council's fees and charges schedule to include a monthly fee of $189 per studio at the Roma Community Arts Centre for non-profit organisations. 2, enters into a commercial tenancy agreement with Roma Patchwork and Crafters for the use of Studio 2 at the Roma Community Arts Centre for a term of 3 years, concluding on the 30th of September 2028, in alignment with existing studio tenancies. 3, approves that Roma Patchwork and Crafters be exempt from rental payments under the agreement until roof repairs in Studio 6 are completed to a satisfactory standard. And 4, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to execute all necessary documentation.
Have a seconder?
And a question.
Are you seconding?
I have a question before I
Yep,
second.
Yep.
Can I just ask, can an EOI result in a contract?
Through the chair, yes, if it's with a community group.
Okay, thank you. So then-
Essentially what we've done is we've done the EOI process and now we're using the exception clauses under the regulations to appoint a community group directly, which we can only do with community groups.
Yeah, and that doesn't need to make the resolution?
No, it doesn't.
Thank you, happy to second.
Happy
I
to
actually
second.
now have a
Councillor
question.
Davis? You have a question? Yes.
We've said 189 per month per studio. The studios are of different sizes. So I just wanted to check how, we do have different size studios there. So is that just for those small studios or how is this being calculated?
Through the chair, it is a flat rate for each studio, regardless of the size.
I'm just wondering whether that needs to be reviewed. See, Robbie, that one is tiny compared with, for example, the Maranoa artists and the actual full patchwork.
Pottery one.
So can I maybe add another thing that we asked that a review of is that acceptable?
You
to
think
ask
just
for-
regarding floor, like by floor area sort of thing?
Yeah, that we receive via a briefing, a review of the applicable fees and charges for the studios based on
Spaces in the city.
the sizes.
Lettable space.
Yeah, lettable space.
Would you not even put the figure in there at the moment then?
Well, we are charging people already. It's just not in the schedule. So I think we need to have it in the schedule, but we can review it then.
Yeah, review fees and charges any time, so we can bring a separate report back, basically saying this is how many we've got, this is the floor area, this is how much we're charging, and then
Yeah.
council can make a decision whether they want
Whether
actually a different rate.
we
for
might
different
want to keep
floor
it the
area, or
same,
you
or
might
but
wanna
we
keep the same, yep.
yeah,
That-
we need to look
That gives
at
you that flexibility, so.
Okay, well, I'll speak to the motion now.
You can.
It was, the silversmiths gave up the room some time ago and that was discussed through council. We went out to the EOI. We had the one application. We have suggested that they'd be exempt because on reading their application, the reason that patchworkers have asked for this area is they actually can't use the area they've got or a large proportion of the area they've got due to the roof leaks, which council hasn't fixed. And we do have that in this year's budget, so hopefully that will be fixed this year. So that's why the exemption, I can't see why they should be paying for an area when they can't use the area that they've got due to our roof leak.
Okay, anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. 14.6, the Maranoa Nursing Advancement Bursary Program 2025 Assessment Panel. Councillor O'Neill.
I'm happy to move. I've just got a couple of questions before I move. Through the chair, to Neil, the framework, that's been endorsed by council?
Yes, through the chair, it was endorsed by council, yes.
Yeah, and when we had the panel previously, were the three individuals from Queensland Health, were they on the previous panel?
Through the chair, I don't know that answer, I'm sorry. I wasn't a part of the last process.
I think Chris was.
As,
Because it just, in the report, it says the three appointed individuals being those three.
yep,
I just don't have a memory of who appointed them.
Nominated by.
they were nominated by Dr. Brown. I reached out to Dr. Brown to ask his recommendations and these were the three people he put forward.
He put forward, right,
yes.
so we need to
To
include
appoint
that in the resolution today, that we're appointing those three individuals. And then in that framework, it is that the chair of the committee has to be a nurse.
Correct, yes. And Chris was the one that Dr. Brown recommended as the chair. And
I mean, the framework's a framework now. I would argue that this is a council initiative and it should be a councillor that chairs any committee of council, not an external. But if it's in the framework now, we have to run with it. Unless we amend that, it is inconsistent with every other approach of council.
You don't have to be an expert in nursing to chair the meeting, do you?
No.
You do not, but this is a committee of council, not, and I don't mind that it's dominated by externals, but chair it should be. Can we lay this on the table to later in the meeting?
I was going to say, do you want to lay it on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I move we lay this on the table to later in the meeting to identify an appropriate process to potentially amend the framework.
Okay, all those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Okay, 14.7, development application, material change of use, low impact industry, extension to tyre shop, 90 to 92 Charles Street, Roma, reference 2025/21417. Councillor Seawright.
Wish to declare a conflict of interest on item 14.7, development application, material change of use, low impact industry, extension to tyre shop, 90 to 92 Charles Street, Roma, reference 2025/21417. The declaring councillor is myself, Brendan Seawright. Persons of interest is myself and my wife, Kristen Seawright. Crawford's Tyres, the particulars of interest is Crawford's Tyres is a sponsor of events held by the Wallumbilla A&P Association, which I am the president of, and my wife, Kristen Seawright, is the secretary of. It is declarable conflict of interest. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I respect the decision of the meeting and whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Brompton.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Seawright participates in votes on agenda item 14.7 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconder, Councillor Burkett. All those in favour?
Yes.
8-0. Okay, do I have a mover? Councillor Flynn.
I will move that council, the development application for a material change of use, low impact industry extension to existing tyre shop business located at 90 to 92 Charles Street, Roma, and described as lot 231 on R8613, be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice. And there are a number of listed conditions there on this particular approval.
Seconded by Councillor Burkett. Anybody got any questions? Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, I'd just like to congratulate Crawfors on the way that they've embraced the business and improvements in that particular area of town, and that thank the staff for the way they've handled this particular application, because it has been a fairly lengthy process to be involved with.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Against? Anyone like to speak at all? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Well, they're still here. Okey-dokey. 14.8, 2015/19400, change application minor, material change of use, intensive animal industry. Do I have a mover? Do I have a question?
Yes, I
Councillor
was just
Vincent?
going to confirm that road widening was their concern, not council's concern. Just on the corner.
Through the Mayor, that was recommended by the applicant's engineer that the intersection widening is required to accommodate the Type 2 road trains they're proposing.
So they're doing it, not council? We're
They'll be conditioned to do it if this is approved by council.
Yeah, okay. I have a question too, Danielle. Is there anywhere that we can put that they have to water the road? Is that
Suppression.
Potentially not, because the proposed changes aren't, according to the engineering report, they aren't increasing the impacts on the road network. So the engineering report says there's actually a reduced impact on the road network as a result of less vehicle movement. So you probably couldn't associate a requirement like that to the change that they're seeking.
Okay, thank you. Councillor O'Neill.
Question as well through the chair. Danielle, what about additional signage that a speed reduction for these vehicles?
Through you, Mayor, possibly addressing like a speed limit may be better addressed through an NHVR permit approval process as opposed to the development approval, being more of an operational matter.
Can we put that as a condition you're asking? Yeah.
Yeah, through the chair, just with the speed limits, we've talked about this before, just on unsealed roads, but just around putting regulatory speed limits. But as Danielle said, this is obviously the first step. There would still need to be an NHVR permit request that would go. Obviously, that was the first. It was pushed initially to NHVR, reviewed the planning approval, and it didn't support the type 2. So this is but there still would be that NHVR permit. Putting permanent infrastructure in a condition of an NHVR permit is probably not the right spot. It's probably more in the DA, but I'd just caution on writing in about regulatory speed limits, just because that's probably not able to be done under the guidelines there. But the signage can be.
The signage of what? What other signage?
The initial question was around additional signage. That's all. So.
But signage that they have to, we encourage them, the yellow signs, to travel at 40 kilometres an hour if they're a truck.
Yeah, I think that would be better managed through a permit condition and a pilot style arrangement, rather than a
HVR or through the DA?
Through NHVR. Otherwise, you'll start to create a disparity between normal road users and potentially the triples. So
does council have to put what we would like to see as part of then HVR approval in here?
I would see that the engineering report sort of outlines the requirements, but we would look at time restrictions, speed restrictions, pilot vehicles, that sort of stuff in the NHVR permit, and restrictions in wet weather movements and that sort of stuff. So,
which is an operational decision rather than a council decision?
Correct, yeah.
So how do we get the community to see that council is considering mitigants against dust? Other than them watching right now and seeing that we're questioning it. I mean,
yep, understood. I'm not 100% sure, council, albeit just communicating with the residents along that road as to here's the resolution and here's the additional steps that the council would look at. So I can't honestly see another way of doing it.
But is that an additional report, or is that that can't be part of the DA, can it?
Councillor, there is also another provision through the DPI who regulate feedlots to go back and revisit, the conditions around the number of head that they've approved, because they have to consider dust and odour as well. We haven't had direct interaction with their feedlot compliance unit over this matter, and we can talk to them. But again, that is a state provision. It's not one that we can condition. We can certainly ensure that information is flowing to them, and any, future concerns around odour and dust can be addressed through that as well.
I mean, that's certainly through Mayor, and then sorry, Councillor Brunt. I mean, Jamie, I get that, That's a state government lever that we could work with them, but what's our lever?
I was
to-
just
to
wondering,
make-
can we have a second part of the resolution to say that note specific conditions such as will be covered under an NHVR, just so it's clearly
Documented.
articulated in the minutes, documented in the minutes? Is that a problem to do? Is that I know it's a planning application, but if you're just noting, you're not, just in terms of then it's minuted that we've had a discussion and that
Councillor
that's going to
Davis?
be
Taking it
covered.
seriously.
Is there an opportunity to do a trial period?
We've been trialling since 2016.
Yeah.
Sorry?
All this dates back to 2016.
A trial period.
Yeah, no, but it's not a trial period, but
They've been doing it.
they've been doing it since 2016. It's pretty hard to go back to them and say, can we do a trial period?
Well, the
But
amendments
this is
for
a
a
trial,
road train.
this is a trial
Not-
period on the road train,
Previously been
the size of the trucks.
I don't know if you can have a trial period on a development application.
No.
Yeah, through the mayor, I just had a quick conversation with Danielle. That would be the issue. You definitely can trial period permits under NHVR to sort of say,
Okay.
hey, they're in place for the first 6 months and we'll monitor. The trouble is, it's the underlying DA. Once it's approved, it's very difficult to. But happy for the team to talk if there was.
Through the chair, if all the things are covered in here, to Councillor O'Neill's point that we just need to get it out there for the community to see it on a bit of paper, I agree with Councillor Brumpton, like if we could just put a note in there that these aspects will be covered within the report or by another organisation, like that way it's without going through and changing anything underneath.
Through the mayor, the recommended conditions do require the applicant to get the NHVR permit. They also include the 2 engineering reports as approved documents. So the recommendations in that, which include reduced speed limits and reduced times of travel, will form part of the development approval and would be referenced when the NHVR permit application is submitted.
I've just got another question. When it's got condition 4 be amended from and then to, why is the Capricorn Principal Development Guidelines crossed out on that? So is that the reason why are we amending it from that to that?
Oh, that's the document we used when the original planning approval was granted in 2016 and we no longer reference that, is that? I know back in 2016, Western, Central Highlands and us, we actually had a document we both adopted that we used, but whether we're still referring to that document, the original one was actually approved under that document, whether we're still referencing that document or not.
So we just,
Danny was here.
is it just about a document?
Sorry, Mayor, I'll have to come back to you on that one.
Okay, thank you.
So really, they've still got to abide by those B, C and E to go ahead anyway.
It just says condition 4, which is that, get changed to, but then they cross that out.
I'll move we lay this on the table till later in the meeting.
Okay, all those in
For
favour?
2 things.
Yep.
One is to get the answer to your question.
Yep.
But it would be, Rob, be good to have a alternate resolution that includes, as Councillor Brumpton highlighted, an additional point about noting that there are highlighting the particular aspects in those engineering reports that have to be considered as part of the NHVR approval.
Yeah.
And what they are, so that we're bringing them out and highlighting that these are the things that will be considered as part of that permit.
All right, all those in favour of laying it on the table till later in the meeting?
Yes.
Against? 8-1.
Yeah.
We have the late. L1, monthly financial report as of the 30th of June 2025, preliminary. Councillor Brompton.
I move that council note the preliminary monthly financial report for the period ended 30th of June 2025.
Have a seconder? Councillor Flynn, would you like to speak, councillor?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to reinforce that this is noting only. The end of financial year has not closed at this stage and there's a number of ins and outs to still occur. I have expressed concern with Director Brett that we continue in these reports to see huge movements. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars back and forward. I am very hopeful that the new financial year reports better reflect our financial position without these huge movements. And if that needs extra assistance, CEO Rob, to try and get we don't seem to be capturing our revenue and expenditure in. It just doesn't seem to be right the way that this is continually drawing question to where we're going and changing our financial position. And I'm getting to the stage where I'm not always feeling comfortable about where we're at. And I think a lot more work needs to be done, which we have reflected over the last 12 months. But I suppose seeing this at this stage of the close of financial year is concerning, that we continue to see the huge fluctuations. But recognising end of financial year is a very difficult time, and also we were notified that we were getting 50% of the FAGS grant late, which is an issue, but certainly, especially the flood money.
Early.
We were notified late
Yeah,
that we were
getting
getting
it early.
50% early in this financial year, but the accounting for the flood money seems to need to have a better way that it happens.
Yeah, I agree. Councillor
Can I
Vincent.
just ask a quick question,
You
just
can.
in regards to the FAGS grant? So we got 50% for next year, but did we ever get the end bit of this year's? Because we still had that little bit to
25% or
come
something.
in from last financial year. Did it
Through the chair,
come
yes,
in?
yes.
It
So
did?
they're very good at, they have their quarterly regime that they pay, and it's just, we just get this one that's very much subject to the federal government when they decide to make their payment to the state. And it's all very much of a timing issue. But yes, they do a reconciliation and make sure that we get those. They also will continue in the new financial year then to make sure that that's still reconciled, and if there is anything missing, make sure they pay anything, or equally seek if they've overpaid us to make sure they shortchange us a bit further. But yes, it does. They're very, very good at making sure that we get the money that we're meant to get.
Oh, good. Has anybody else got any questions?
No questions, just a comment, agreeing with Councillor Brompton and the fact that I find it very difficult to understand this report given the vagaries of the reporting about our flood expenditure.
All right, Councillor Davis.
I'm not quite sure if you'll be able to
don't
field this one, Director Brett, but just seeing that we've spent $100 grand in a roundabout in a vac truck hire.
Probably not going to do, no. Yes,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Just wondering how much is a vac truck, and is it a consideration that we need to make for future years to purchase rather than hire?
There's a second one on.
Oh, we have.
Yes.
Okay,
In the
so
new
is
program,
it-
we have considered that.
Okay,
That's right. And I know that
beautiful.
the manager of fleet is also looking at, is there other options around using like trailers, so you can have more of for
Yep.
lower value. So yeah, so we have to
That
hire
just-
less.
That
So,
just
yeah.
jumped out at me that I missed the first time round, so thank you.
Would you like to sum up, councillor?
I don't think there's any.
You're all good? All right, with that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
You're right, councillor O'Neill, did you put your hand up? You did,
did
sorry,
vote,
okay.
yeah.
9-0, thank you. L2, development application, material change of use, dwelling house, domestic outbuilding, lot 900, Wormble Drive, Roma, reference 2025/21474. Does anybody have any questions? Councillor O'Neill.
To the Mayor, Danielle, have you got in the background somewhere, if council decided to approve this, have you got an alternative resolution with all the conditions that need to? It's not in the report.
Yes, through you, Mayor, we do have an alternative, but it hasn't been circulated to councillors yet.
Can it?
Can I move that be laid on the table until that report is received?
You can do whatever you like.
Yeah, just, can I have a question to go with councillor Flynn's thing?
Yeah.
I'll just see if they-
We've got it there if you want to put it up. It's this alternate resolution.
Just, yeah, with.
Well,
Yeah.
The mayor needs to deal with the
Councillor Flynn wants to lay it on table, but councillor
Yeah,
Burgess
you're
has got
adding to
one
that, that's
question to
right.
go with
Yeah,
it.
question.
Yep.
Just, will that, with that information coming back, because yesterday we talked about, like, obviously the height, because of the width to counteract that. And I mentioned about the roller doors will be the thing that restricts what does go in there potentially. So will that have that information of the roller door heights to go with the actual height of the building? So or did we get those, has he come forward with those plans?
Through the chair, we haven't gotten the plans yet from Andrew or the consultant. We tend to not condition the roller door height. Our condition within our alternative resolution is just for the pitch height, which is the 5.7 metres as we discussed yesterday.
And just another question. Sorry,
The reason I moved to lay it on the table was because of these questions.
but they won't know what.
But they
we
won't
need.
know what the questions are.
Until we see what they circularised.
Well, they could come
There's
back
been
with the
discussion
answers.
since the briefing yesterday.
Well, yeah, well, I can wait and ask the question.
I don't.
That's okay.
have a
Let's
problem
lay it
with
on the
council.
table till further in the meeting.
It's just holding off the amendment.
You putting it? You're putting the resolution? Oh.
Councillor Hancock, we're just laying this one on the table.
Thank you. Are we
Yep.
voting? You haven't voted on it yet?
We're voting now.
Oh,
But thank you was a good vote.
sorry.
Am I
Yes.
counting the thank you as a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. 9-0. Morning, Daniel.
Good morning.
L3, Roma Airport Precinct Plan Concept Plan. Councillor Flynn.
I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on this particular matter. The subject, Roma Airport Precinct Plan concept stage. Councillor declaring is myself, and person with related interest is myself as a contractor that works for an organisation at Roma Airport. Type of conflict is it's a declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is being discussed and voted on.
Thank you. You're right, Cal. Councillor Flynn is leaving the room.
And Kelly Councillor Flynn changed from described to declarable.
All right. Do we have any, Councillor O'Neill?
I'll move that council adopt the Roma Airport Precinct Plan as presented.
Have a seconder? Councillor Davis, would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. First of all, I want to say thank you to Daniel for the work that he's put in navigating this as manager of the airport. I think this does a couple of things. One, shows the council, as we committed to last year, is open for business, and we're looking at what is a major asset for our region and what we can work towards doing with it in the coming years. I think this is an aspirational plan where there can be some immediate wins, but longer term it will take some private public partnerships to make this a reality. We will need support of the other levels of government, ultimately, as well as the private sector to see the plan come to fruition in its entirety. But as I say, there are some steps early on that we can start to take. I think this has been incredibly thorough. The consultants that we've used, stakeholder engagement, I think, has been really well done and has been important. And the feedback that I've got from those stakeholders has been that they are pleased to have been invited to be involved. That comes down to, Daniel, you and your team engaging with them at an officer level, and of course with the reintroduction of portfolios and having the airport portfolio this term has meant that I've been able to do that as part of my role as well. And I don't want this to sit on the shelf, and if supported by council, I suspect none of you want that either. It's a goal that we can work towards, and I look forward to progressing this over the remaining part of this term.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
I'd like to speak
Councillor
for,
Brompton.
not against. Yeah, I'd also like to thank Officer Daniel for the work that he's done to get this underway, and I think it's great for council to be forward-thinking and looking at opportunities and to have this conceptualised. It's a starting point, and there's a lot that can be done, hopefully, in the future to develop the area, and thanks for your commitment to getting that happening for us.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I'll speak forward. I'd just like to thank Manager Daniel also and the consultant group. The sessions we had were very informative, and I think they ticked a lot of boxes. I know there's some variables with the potential of the road that's where it lands, but I think without that, I still think it's a good thing moving forward. It takes up a bit of space that'll fit in with the airport, so I'm fully supportive of this.
Anybody else like to speak? We'll go. Would you like to sum up?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. Not so much to sum up on the report, but I think this will be the last opportunity to thank Daniel for his work as the manager of the airport over the last few years. We wish you all the success with the next steps in your professional career, and what a feather in your cap is to be able to have this presented to council before you head off and start that next phase of your career in life. So thank you for the work that you've done. There have been some significant challenges that we've faced with the airport over the time that you've been here, but thank you for your service and all the best.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, on that note, we'll go to the vote. We've still got to vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
8-0. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
Well done, Dan.
Councillor Flynn is back in the room. L4, 2025 LGAQ Annual Conference, Councillor Attendance and Voting Arrangements. Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to move that Council 1 nominate available councillors to attend the 2025 LGAQ Annual Conference at the Gold Coast on the 20th to the 22nd of October 2025. 2, nominate councillors O'Neill and I'm easy.
I'm easy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I knew you'd say that.
Is Mayor Taylor?
Would anybody?
Councillor, the mayor doesn't want to. She's happy to share it.
Yeah. Would somebody else like to have a go?
I'll nominate Councillor Brumpton
Okay.
as its voting delegates for 2025 LGAQ Annual Conference. We don't need the rest of that. 3, draw applicable registration, travel and accommodation costs from attending council's conference budget allocation.
Have a seconder. Councillor Davis. Anyone got any questions?
I'd like to point out that to Kel that Councillor O'Neill said nominate available councillors.
Oh, the top one.
Yes, sorry, available. Nominate available councillors.
All right. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Which is all, but I'm just
Yeah,
pointing out that
yeah.
it's, yeah. So thanks very much, Mayor. I'm happy to support this as I have, I think in most years, I've supported it every year that I've been here, but in the years that I've moved it, I think this conference is the premier conference for local government. Having just returned with the Mayor from the Australian Local Government Conference, Queensland is leaps and bounds in front. And you hear that across delegates when you're at ALGA, we see it come through that the coordination that the association here in Queensland provides us as members and councillors and staff is second to none. And this annual conference is a great opportunity to network with local councils right across the state. What I noticed last year is that there are councils like ours that provide the opportunity for all their elected representatives to attend if they can, if they're available, and if they want to.
Yeah, they do.
I know, Mayor, you spoke to that point last year, and I support it, and I agree with it again this year, that because this conference is tailored specifically for the elected representatives and executive of councils, that I'm very supportive of providing the opportunity for those that can attend to attend. In terms of sharing the delegate rolls around, thanks, Mayor. I knew you would be happy to give that a roll to another councillor. There's just a couple of items that are coming up from council in a preceding report that will hit the floor of convention that I'd like to put our region's voice to, in particular to Rex and more broadly the regulated route. And of course some legislative changes to some rating issues that we're experiencing. So I ask councillors to support this year that myself and Councillor Brumpton are the delegates, and to have the voting rights of Maranoa Regional Council at the conference.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, I'm happy to support this motion today, and to make it available to all available councillors that are able to attend this. It's not only gives us an opportunity to talk to other councils that are there, it's also there's departmental people that we run into, and also what you learn when you go to the workshops as well. It just broadens. I know last year it broadened my mind to see what
really
was
enjoyed it, yeah.
happening around the state. For me, it's making sure that we're just not looking internally, that we can see a bigger picture of how things might be done better for our region as well. So that's why I support, because everyone's going to get something different out of it. So it's important that we all get the opportunity.
Which is why I'm happy to give up my voting right so that somebody else can have a turn, because it's a great thing. And I know you all enjoyed it last time, and you all came home full of enthusiasm and ready to go again for another year. So I fully support us all going as well. I think it's an opportunity missed if you don't. So anybody else like to speak? Councillor Davis.
Just to add to what everyone else has said, and most of it has been said, I'd just like to say it is the professional development of councillors. The bar isn't very high to be a councillor. Really, you've got to meet 3 things to run as a councillor. I see this as investing in the councillors, council, and the future in the community. So I was really impressed being a newly elected last year and being able to sit in the room and actually hear debate, which I feel has only assisted me to be a better councillor. So I'm very happy to support this motion.
They'll be looking out for you this year. All right, does anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
Everything's been said.
Okay, all good. All right, with that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. What have we got? L5, advocacy consideration call for LGAQ conference motions 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll move the council submit the following motions to the 2025 Local Government Association of Queensland LGAQ Annual Conference. 1, on behalf of Maranoa Regional Council, call on the Local Government Association of Queensland LGAQ to advocate to the Queensland Government for further legislative or administrative reform that prevents the renewal of resource tenements where the applicant has outstanding local government rates in any local government area, any Queensland local government area, not just the jurisdiction of the current tenement. 2, on behalf of the South West Queensland Regional Organisation of Councils, call on the Local Government Association of Queensland to advocate to the Queensland Department of Transport and Main Roads, TMR, for the timely release of the upcoming tender for regulated long-distance air services across Queensland, and to ensure that the development of the tender scope includes early and comprehensive engagement with impacted local governments and their communities.
Have a second?
Can I suggest a change?
Can I have a question? Just
Yeah, sorry, hold on. With the first one, sorry, which one of us is going?
you go. You got the first. I got the second.
Okay. With the last word saying not just the jurisdiction of the current tenement, should that be not just the jurisdiction of the tenement where rates are due? I think that's what we're.
Yeah,
I
that's,
am,
that's
not
what
just the
we're, yeah.
jurisdiction.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. That's what the
Of the
aim is.
tenement where rates are due. I suggest that change.
Good pickup.
Where rates are overdue, probably is, or owing, or whatever the correct terminology. Overdue?
I just put
Or
due.
owing, maybe?
Yeah, owing.
Yeah, yeah.
And Councillor Vincent?
And my question was around the use of the word long distance. What constitutes long distance, being that we're only an hour from Brisbane?
Upcoming tender for regulated long-distance air
Is
services.
there a
think they're
certain?
I think they're defined as regulated long distance.
600k or 500, whatever it is. Might be the Toowoomba, might be the short
But
distance.
don't want it just to come down to we're only doing.
The deputy's just having a look.
That's what I mean. If regulated is only on long distance flights,
It's the it is what
is
it's
the
called.
definition.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, so through the Mayor, it's on the DTMR website, our route is noted as a long-distance air service. So,
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
it's okay.
Ellie, can we just read the first one again?
I feel like that duplicates itself there.
What's your concern, councillor?
Where the applicant has outstanding local government rates in any Queensland local government area, not just the jurisdiction on the tenement where rates are owing.
Yeah, I actually think that
That's it?
strengthens it. Yeah.
Righto.
Yeah.
It's, you've captured what the essence of the issue is by adding that.
Well, the only thing is that not just the jurisdiction of the current tenement is, I thought fitted it better because it's captured above it, but not because it doesn't, currently the jurisdiction is only in the current tenement area.
But they have current tenements in multiple jurisdictions,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. And you have to make sure that they're preventing the renewal of resource tenements. If you take out the next few words, they're preventing the renewal of resource tenements, not just in the jurisdiction of the tenement where rates are owing. So you're trying to stop them from renewing a tenement,
I
not
don't
just in our council area.
I do understand it. It just feels like it's, you've captured it in the line above as well. The applicant has outstanding local government rates in any Queensland local government area.
Full stop.
At the moment, they're not allowed to renew only in where rates are owing. So I think we need to clearly say, we're trying to say
Yeah.
it's any tenement.
Okay. As long as, again, the motion's put up that everyone else can understand that we've discussed it, but.
Councillor Flynn?
Madam Mayor, I'm not comfortable with voting on item 2. I feel I should declare a conflict of interest and leave the room, given the nature of the motion.
Okey-dokey. That's okay.
You'll
yeah.
have to say it. You'll have to say it.
The description of the conflict is advocacy consideration call for local government conference motions 2025. The declaring councillor is myself, Peter Flynn. The person with the related interest is myself, Peter Flynn. The particulars of interest are possible conflict with regard to business dealings, the type of conflict is declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is being discussed and voted on.
Thank you, councillor.
Possibly not possible, Kel, possibly the word perceived.
Okay, where did we get up
Back
to?
to the wording, do we need to make it better from the, Ken Hoffman's got a.
Yeah, through the chair, just for background, like when the motion gets submitted, it's obviously, this is really the motion, but it's then supported by some background justification and case study. So
Which is provided to
it's
members.
provided to delegates and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I can see both sides, but I think the extra words, if anything, just reinforces it. I think without, I think if you just pulled up at outstanding rates in Queensland, full stop, it's missing our key point of it's when the tenement is in our area and the rates are outstanding on that tenement sort of thing.
I think you covered it with those 2 points there, in any and not just. So
Yeah,
they're the two
yeah.
major points, in any and not just. You've got it there, and as Cam said, we'll circulate that background because Cam actually has started
And you know,
repopulating that.
we could be
LGA
protecting other
written.
councils.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Because
I agree that the
they
motion's
don't know.
good in that.
I've just got a third one that
You want to get Flinny back in?
No.
I
you
can't.
can't because it's.
Yeah.
So the third one would be that Maranoa Regional Council call on LGAQ to advocate for legislative amendments that would define the payment schedule of the federal assistant grants. Now, I'm sure there'll be something else that another council has put forward, but we can't rely on that someone else is doing it. We put this in, they'll knock it out if there's a better one or whatever. But I just think we need to call on that it is defined what that time frame is, so that we are getting the whole payment in the financial year in which we intend to spend it.
Do we need to define a set payment schedule? Because they might define a payment schedule that it can be any time between the 1st of July and the 30th of June. Do we need to be more specific?
They could. That's better than what we've got now.
Yeah, I just was.
It's defining it so that the payment is in the year in which we intend to
Spend it.
Yeah, well, do we need to say that? Yeah, I think.
Because it's one thing of consistency, or it's one thing of getting a little bit more specific as to the expectation. 'Cause
Well,
it's two different. Yeah.
our goal would be to have it in the year in which we spend it. But if they ultimately set it that it was 50% one year, 50% the other, well, we'd budget accordingly for that, and we'd be able to report
just when they
accordingly.
change it
It's just we don't know.
Yeah,
change it.
but ultimately,
Prepaid
getting
and
it in the same
postpaid.
year, paid in 2 full instalments doesn't matter, but getting it in that same year.
Defining a set payment schedule within the financial year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're trying to align
Yeah.
align the payment with the activity is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're advocating at a Commonwealth level here, though. This won't be at a state. I mean,
That's- that-
asking the
that-
state to advocate for the.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be calling on the state, because LGAQ do
They'll
interact
go-
directly
yeah.
to the feds as well, yeah.
Because it's definitely advocating with the Commonwealth, because they control all of this.
I mean, the other change that could happen is that, which they can't do at the moment, that the state holds the money for a day or two.
Well, that was the
Yeah.
thing with the last one. If they
Yeah.
held it an extra
They
2
held
days,
it.
we would have.
Which they legislatively cannot,
Yep.
is what came back on it. that
Yeah, it
the
was,
minister
yeah.
said,
Yep.
Within the same financial year?
For payment, define a set payment schedule
Looking for some certainty, aren't
for
you?
payment to occur within the same financial year.
That it applies.
That's messy.
We've messed it up.
Yeah.
Define a set payment schedule.
that would define a set payment schedule of full payment within the same financial year.
So then you want
Within
everything
the
up
set
front or everything
financial
in
year that
arrears?
it applies.
Might have to
Talking
move
about for the year it's intended, isn't it?
Yeah.
Might have to move the words for the federal assistance grant up to the front somewhere.
Legislative amendments to the federal assisted grants
Yeah.
that would define a set payment schedule, a full payment within the, what did you say, Jane? The
Same financial year for which the grant is intended.
intended.
Yeah.
So you want to
Yes.
move, yeah, amendments.
That's good.
That works better.
For which the grant is intended.
So to be amendments to the federal assistance grants that would define a set payment schedule, a full payment within the same financial year for which the grant is intended. We got that, I think. On the fly.
Happy with that?
Yep.
Okay, would you like to speak?
Oh, I'll have a second.
Oh, sorry.
I'll second. If you
Oh,
haven't got a
thank you.
seconder, I don't think.
Councillor Brumpton, second that.
You might have to vote
Councillor
on it
O'Neill.
down the
Thanks, Mayor. Three, very different motions but three very important areas that we want to see addressed from a Maranoa Regional Council perspective. And a lot of the local governments in Queensland would benefit from, particularly point 1 and point 3. And I look forward to debating these on the floor of a state conference in October and getting the support of our colleagues across the state.
Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
8-0. That's it till the late, till they come back?
We got Danielle's thing too.
We've got confidential as well, so.
I've got questions on those two things.
We might break for morning tea.
Good to go.
Okay, would someone like to move us into close, please?
Whose turn?
I'll do it.
I did it last time, actually.
Councillor Seawright.
I move that in accordance with provision of section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the council resolved to close the meeting to the public at 11 a.m. to discuss confidential items that the council is consider necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed, an overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. C1, rates and utilities, write-off doubtful debts. C2, report update of the hydrogeological model for Roma, Queensland. LC1, proposed acquisition of strategic land assessment number 15018880. LC2, Chief Executive Officer Performance Agreement. And that is it.
Did I have a seconder? Councillor Vincent, all those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. We're in closed.
Thanks, Eva.
We'll start with the confidential. C1, rates and utilities write-off of doubtful debts. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brumpton.
I move that Council 1 decline the proposed payment arrangement of $12,500 per quarter for a period of 12 months as settlement for all overdue rates and charges. 2, advise the ratepayer that Council deems the proposed payment amount to be inadequate and not reflective of the seriousness of the outstanding debt, and require all arrears to be paid in full by the 30th of June 2026, with a minimum monthly payment of $63,000 required to meet this expectation. 3, is of the view that overdue rates and charges significantly affect Council's capacity to deliver essential services and infrastructure, which in turn impacts the broader community, and is of the view that it is essential that payment arrangements are both reasonable and sufficient to address the debt in a timely manner, ensuring fairness to all ratepayers and the sustainability of council operations. 4, write to the Minister for Natural Resources and Mines, Minister for Manufacturing and Minister for Regional and Rural Development, and the Minister for Local Government, Water and Minister for Fire, Disaster Recovery and Volunteers, highlighting the issue of outstanding rates on discontinued petroleum leases on entities that continue to hold any petroleum leases and the significant financial effect this has on local government.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor O'Neill. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Just to say that this is a significant debt to council, and we are wanting to have every effort to have this amount paid, and we may need some levers from government to allow more accountability to petroleum leaseholders around some of the debts that they owe.
Anyone else want to speak against? Oh, anyone want to speak against? Anybody else like to speak for? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. Fully endorse the comments that Councillor Brumpton has made. This is a significant debt owed to the ratepayers of the Maranoa, and we have taken an approach over the last few terms to ensure that both our residents and corporate entities fulfil their duties, and that is to pay their rates on an annual basis. It is a shame that we've got to this point, but I think Council's message is very strong in that we want this to be rectified within this financial year, and I welcome the point 4, which is calling on the government to support us in ensuring that companies pay their rates and that we are not ultimately left and our ratepayers left in the lurch when it comes to rates and monies that are owing to them.
Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, Councillor? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. C2, report update on the hydrogeological model for Roma, Queensland. Do I have a mover? Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move the council receive and accept the updated hydrological of the model for Roma, Queensland report as presented. Of the model. 2, consider the findings of the updated hydrological model for Roma. That's the same thing. Roma as presented. Queen's report into future planning, development, infrastructure prioritisation and funding applications.
I have a seconder, Councillor Seawright. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
No, thanks.
Anyone like to speak? Go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Go on to the late. LC1, proposed acquisition of a strategic vacant land, assessment number 1501880. Councillor O'Neill.
I move the Council, 1, accept the offer from Economic Development Queensland as outlined in option 3 of this report, and 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to progress the necessary actions to give effect to this option.
Seconded by Councillor Brumpton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Very briefly, Mayor, recognising the commerciality of what's before us, but if this is supported today, it will go some way in addressing issues that stakeholders in our community have spoken to council about in respect to the housing pressures that the Maranoa is facing. If supported, of course, there is a bulk of work to be done as a project for MRC, in which we will at some point excitingly announce to our community. But this is the first step in that direction, and I fully support the recommendation before council.
Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. LC2, Chief Executive Officer Performance Agreement. Councillor Vincent.
Move that council receive and approve the Chief Executive Officer's performance agreement as presented.
Seconder, councillor Burkett. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Just quickly, council has done a lot of work along with the CEO to come up with the performance agreement that we all agree on. And I think this is important for us as the only person in council that we actually hire. So it's great to see not only our goals, but also the CEO's goals in writing with some outcomes.
Anybody else like to speak? Going to go to the vote? All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. Going back to what we laid on the table? Yep. 14.6. The Maranoa Nursing Advancement Bursary Program 2025 Assessment Panel. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that council endorse Mayor Taylor and Councillor Brumpton to serve as members of the selection committee for the Maranoa Nursing Advancement Bursary Program 2025, and 2, the Maranoa Nursing Advancement Bursary Program framework be brought back to an upcoming council meeting for review.
Council meeting or council briefing?
Council meeting.
Oh, meeting, okay, righto. Seconder, councillor Seawright. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Thanks, Mayor. I think yourself and Councillor Brumpton will do a great job representing council on this particular committee, and I think an opportunity for council just to have another look at the framework to get it exactly where council would like to administer this program would be a good step, and look forward to seeing that at the next council meeting.
Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
9-0. L2, Kel? Is that the last one?
No, 14.8.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't have that one. 14.8.
No, this is different. What? 100. This is the. Oh, what have you got there?
Oh, okay,
Yeah, that's-
116. Sorry, I missed that one.
Just double check. It's 14.2 as well.
I was just waiting for it to come up here, but it's...
Daniel, that.
14.8.
Yeah,
You right?
yeah, it's the email supposed to be 14.8.
2015/19400, change application minor, material change of use, intensive animal industry. Do we have any more questions? No, is everybody good?
Yeah, there's just an email that went around for another edition. Did you get that, Kel?
Oh, yep. Everybody right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I have a mover?
You're moving back.
I think, did we have a move?
No, we moved it.
No.
Do you want to move, or do you want, I can move it if you...
I don't want to move it.
You don't want to move it? I'll move it.
Councillor Brumpton.
I move that 1, council issue a change decision notice in relation to the existing development approval ref 2015/19400 for a material change of use, intensive animal industry, 4,000 standard cattle units, and environmentally relevant authority 2(1)B, intensive animal feeding located at 1115 Binya Lane, Mount Abundance, described as lots 17 and 19 on WV 841, reflecting the changes detailed below. And they're all listed. And then there's an item 2. Note that in addition to the infrastructure upgrades required by the change application, the management of road operations, including speed restrictions, hours of operation and additional traffic control measures, e.g. pilot vehicles, will be considered and conditioned through the National Heavy Vehicle Regulator, NHVR, permit process, which governs road use by multi-combination vehicles.
I have a seconder. Councillor Davis. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yes. I understand we've been significantly briefed on this. There's a long history to this application. We've considered all that we can in terms of minimising the impact to people that live in the area, and have conditioned where appropriate, and have taken notice of all the engineering reports that have been received that give us advice on where to go with this. So I'm happy to move it on the basis of the expert advice we've received.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
Oh, no, Councillor Flynn.
Councillor Flynn?
Are you going to speak?
Yeah, but you didn't. What did you ask? What question did you ask?
Did anyone else like to speak? Do you want to speak against?
Yes.
Yes, you can speak.
Okay. I am not in favour of the motion. I'm in favour of the conditions that were originally implied, but I think that we're applying conditions to this application that are above and beyond what we should be expecting from people who are trying to plan the future livelihood in the feedlot industry.
Thank you. Someone speak for? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak in favour. As Councillor Brumpton has already shared, this is this particular feedlot has had a long history with Maranoa Regional Council. I think this is the third term that matters relating to it have come, and obviously a change application is something that council should consider. Recognising the intense nature of feedlot means that there is more movements of trucks in and out, and other vehicles as well, which on dirt roads generate significant dust. I welcome the second point, which is simply noting that in addition to the infrastructure upgrades that are required as part of the overall change application and the conditions that were put forward by the officers in relation to that, I think this point too highlights the fact that there are some ways that through the approval process for the vehicle movements that some of the issues can be addressed, and I think that's important that we highlight that to both the applicants, but as well as the neighbouring properties in and around this particular project. These always lead to significant consideration by decision makers, and as I said, this is the third term that this particular business has touched council. It's a balance to make sure that we are seeing a progressive business community in the agricultural sense, and this does create new opportunities in our region for both the business itself, but the ability to sell into it in terms of cattle, and the jobs that an intensive enterprise creates. And we've got to do that in a way that we're also balancing up the assets that we own and look after on behalf of the community, which is the road network. So I think we've got to a pretty good place today, and I thank the staff for helping us come up with the second point to this resolution, which is just simply noting what would have happened anyway through the process of the permit for the NHVR, and we've brought it to the front so the community can see all the things the council considers when making these decisions.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? For or against? Would you like to sum up, councillor?
Just briefly, recognising that a lot of it's been said, but just reinforcing again that this business has been operating for a number of years. Under their planning application, we as council required them to do a certain amount of work to get more information, which they have complied with and given us a lot of detail. We've got lots of reports. We've been given the parameters of where we can and can't make decisions. We've taken into account that there are neighbours and road users impacted, so I believe we've done, as Councillor O'Neill said, a pretty fair job with the extreme help of the officers around where we can balance this and ensure that the business can operate and we minimise the impact on other people in the area and road users. So I'm happy with where we've come to.
Thank you. On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Against? 8-1. Thank you. Now we're up to we're up to L2. L2. That's LC. I just need. Must have been this one. Am I in the late? I'm
No, page 23 on the late.
on the late.
Yeah, white.
Yeah, sorry, I've got my pages all mixed up. Right, L2, development application, material change of use, dwelling house, domestic outbuilding, lot 900 on Wormble Drive, Roma, reference 2025/21474. Does anybody have any other questions? Do I have a?
Just one. Just with the two, why one it's got the same maximum enclosed floor area, but one says maximum open-sided floor area with the dimensions, and the other one just says the balance. Is there any reason why they're different?
Through you, Mayor, because we don't have a detailed set of plans from the applicant, we wanted to put some parameters around what we wanted to see in the revised plans. So we're limiting the enclosed floor area that they can have. So they may not build up to that size, but we're putting a cap on that and then allowing them to decide how they have the open area.
So there was no adjustment to lower it at all, no need to lower it at all. It was staying, I know we don't have the plan, so it's a little bit.
Do I have a mover?
Now I'm prepared to move with regard to the application for material change of use dwelling house domestic building on land situated at lot 900 Wormble Drive, Roma, properly described as lot 900 on SP 263036, be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice. The development details are as follows. Use: 1. The approved development is a material change of use, dwelling house, domestic outbuilding as defined in the Maranoa Planning Scheme 2017 and as shown on the approved plans. The use of the approved domestic outbuilding must be residential storage purposes only. Parking or storage of vehicles or equipment associated with a commercial or industrial activity is not an approved use, nor is the use of the building for business activities. The domestic outbuilding is a non-habitable building and must not be used for residential occupation. A development permit for building works must be obtained prior to commencing construction of the outbuilding, and it's in conjunction with the approved plans and documents as listed from item 5 through on the documentation received by council.
I might just have to say which one it is that you're moving.
Councillor Finn, I'm just confused on what size the shed is.
You're doing the 358 or the 350?
Yeah, I looked at that and I will move that be for the 350 metres square, but in the original documentation, we don't have any listing as far as sizing goes.
Well, we did in the original resolution.
That's the original officer's recommendation. I'm prepared to move that be this resolution be part of a 350 metre square recommendation.
So, yeah, so it's the 350 metre square.
That's right,
shed.
Chair.
Yeah, all right. Do I have a seconder? No?
Lapses.
Lapses, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, it lapses.
So you
yeah.
need to seek another resolution.
Somebody want to move another resolution? Councillor Davis.
I move that the application for material change of use, dwelling house, domestic outbuilding on land situated at lot 900, Wormwood Drive, Roma, properly described as lot 900 on SP 263036 be refused for the following reasons. The proposed building does not comply with the applicable assessment benchmarks in the Maranoa Planning Scheme 2017. The proposed outbuilding is to be significantly larger than accepted outbuilding size within the rural residential zone. The applicant has not provided sufficient justification to support a 358 metre squared shed on the rural residential zone.
Could I have that changed?
Beg your
I
pardon?
moved the motion about 350 metres.
But you didn't get a seconder.
No, but Councillor Davis has mentioned 358 in her.
358, yeah, correct.
58. She's declining it though. She's not, she's voting, she's taking up the officer's recommendation to decline it.
No, well, what happens to the proposal for 350 metres squared?
You didn't get
You
a seconder.
didn't get a seconder.
Okay.
So it lapsed.
So you need a seconder again.
We're working on that,
sorry,
yeah.
Yep.
A seconder for Councillor Davis's resolution.
So
That's also lapsed. Do I have a mover?
Find a bit of paper, we're getting round.
Yes, you got it?
Yeah, I'd like to move that the application for material change of use of dwelling house, domestic outbuilding on land situated at lot 900 Wormwood Drive, Roma, properly described as lot 900 on SP 263036, be approved subject to the listed conditions and advice below, and it's for the 358 metres squared as proposed by the applicant.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Seawright. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Yes, and I once again I do appreciate that the staff have to follow certain guidelines and are governed by certain stipulations, but as I've said previously, things are moving with the times. Things are getting bigger. Boys' toys, caravans, everything's getting a lot bigger, and a lot of times these things aren't apples for apples. We can compare it to the last one size-wise, but the lay of the land is a lot different. If it was flat land on the edge of town with houses backing up to it, it'd be a different story, but this one slopes away, so some of these, if they do build in the future, you technically probably won't even see half the buildings either side. I know it's been said that it opens up the door to put more sheds of that size on that development, but a shed could be in front of the house or an eyesore of a house that someone might think is very aesthetically pleasing, but other people might think it's not so nice. So I think there's a lot of different things like that. I had concerns with stormwater, but once again, the house is over times the size, so there's going to be a lot of stormwater runoff off that as well, so long as that's accounted for. I just think moving forward, this size of the block of the land, I think it fits. I would have been nearly happy with the original size, but as far as looking at another development, the skyline is littered with industrial estate, so they're going to be looking at that as well. So I'm more than happy to move this motion.
Anyone want to speak against? Councillor Davis.
I agree. We've been out there. I'd like to thank the owner and staff for meeting us out on site. It was really good to get a bit of the lay of the land. I do still just have to go back to the planning scheme. This is 3 times the floor limit for what that block is zoned as. And approving this today is setting a precedent that not only affects this council that's signing up for it, future councils as well. It's larger and taller than anything council has approved to date on that size of block in that zone. It is 1.5 metres over the planning scheme height. So that's where I sit. I will be not supporting this motion in line with the current planning scheme.
Thank you. Anyone else for? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm happy to support this. Having been out there and looked at the site, I've got a different perspective, not dissimilar to other sheds that we approved in the previous term, where on paper and against the planning scheme, had I not gone out on site, I would have voted against it. But actually seeing it, it does help in my decision making at least. We're going to review the planning scheme, of course, in the not too distant future, and I suspect that we will see an increase in the size of sheds, we are always going to have the fringes of parameters that we put in place. In this case, the planning scheme, where you can build a case. And for me, it's a legitimate one to approve something that is outside the planning scheme, and I'm comfortable to endorse this today.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Brompton.
I'd like to speak for also.
For, yep.
If that's okay. Same as the 2 previous councillors who spoke for this. At first glance, I was not happy to support, given looking at the sizes on a plan, going out and having a look. As Councillor Burkett has said, the elevation of the property has it above a lot of the others surrounding it. I was concerned about a precedent around that. As Councillor O'Neill has said, sheds are getting bigger, people's toys are getting bigger. As Councillor Burkett said, we do have to be cognizant of the fact that people try to run home businesses in big sheds once they have them, but they can also be run in a smaller shed also, and that is then a compliance issue to be dealt with, and we do have to be concerned about precedent being set in a development. But on balance, looking at that in conjunction with the size of the house, the location, I think in this context, I'm okay to support to the size that we've done a similar shed in a rural residential area.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else against? For? Councillor Vincent.
I'm going to support this one today. I have really struggled with this one, but I think it's a rural residential for me, that it's in a more rural sort of location. I am worried about the precedent, but being the first person and the understanding that this could occur in all other lots up there. So I will support it today on the rural residential land.
Thank you. Councillor Seawright.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to speak for as well, just echoing the sentiments that on paper it is and in essence it is a large shed. But the site visit did pay respect to the location and where it backs onto. Again, the precedence was an issue, and the stormwater for me was an issue. I do believe the stormwater is addressed sufficiently by catchment, but also that moving forward with all the other any other oversized shed does come back to council, and it could be in respect to the site plan, etc., that it is approved or not approved. So while the precedent may be set, it's still impact accessible by council, and we get the oversight of the approval or not.
Thank you. I too am going to vote for it today, and like Councillor Vincent, I have struggled with especially Councillor Davis saying with the town planning and everything, but if we hadn't gone and had a look, I probably would be exactly the same. But I just think it's not too big for the block, and it's not too big for the house. So for me, I I am struggling to vote for it, but I am going to vote for it as well, so. Councillor Burkett, do you want to sum up?
Yeah, I would like to, thanks. Just to reiterate a couple of points, but the proportion of the shed, when you look at it as a plan view, to me it looks fine because the house is a very big house. I do agree that these all should come back to council at times. It does take a lot of pressure off the officers because they've got a arduous task to follow all these stipulations and rules, so I do feel for those guys. And the height situation is governed on because of the size of the shed. To get that width, you need to have structural stuff above in trusses. I do think the site visits are imperative. I'll stand corrected last term, and I did vote for one to go through on Mitchell. It wasn't until it's up that you realise, so I know that probably in the past things that probably shouldn't have gone where they've gone, but you learn from that. But I do think the site visit is imperative. And we don't know what the future, like there could be 10 houses built in front with a single carport. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But one positive with the stormwater, that it might potentially put a bit of water in Lake Neverfill with all these houses. So that might be lake always full soon. So, but yeah, no, happy to support this. I'm glad that we've got good support around the room.
All right, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour?
Yes.
Against? 8-1.
Just need a statement.
I need a statement of reason.
As I said. Just due to the fact of the location of the site, the proximity to other residents, elevation, all these factors contribute to our decision today.
Due to the location of the site, elevation,
and proximity to other
block sizes and proximity to other potential residents.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We know how hard you worked on this one. You work on all of them, I know, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, do we have anything else?
Let's go back. Can we just go back to LJQ motions,
Oh,
just
yeah.
so we can reread that to know if we need to add another one? We've done it, but we might just want to make sure we're right.
LGIQ.
Oh yeah, sorry, Councillor Flynn. The first one, L, sorry. Number one. Call them local. Resource tenements, local, has seen local government rates in any local government.
That's all right, I
I
think.
think it still covers it.
Yeah, it covers it.
That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we're still covered.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to get Councillor Flynn back to.
Before I start. We can run the winner.
Councillor Flynn is back in the room, and if nobody has any more business, we'll close the meeting at 12:14, and thank you very much.